The Tommy Campbell Show. Gavin Newsom has been very busy helping those affected by the flash flooding in California, but he managed to go on a hilarious, festive trolling spree targeting Trump and others. How the Grinch stole your healthcare. What a poster. We hope Santa gives him coal. But don't worry. If you have no healthcare, Trump has something great for you. Safe, inhalable asbestos. Enjoy your cancer, peasants. Our corporate donors need money. Newsom posted a series of Santa letters, including this one to Elf on the Shelf, Cash Patel. Cash can't catch him. See the K's there? Worked overtime on Katie Miller's podcast. Santa owes him some BMWs this Griftmas. I love that he's calling it Griftmas. Another fleet of taxpayer-funded BMWs. Gotta look sharp. For those not aware, it was a Reddit user's detective work that found the university shooter, not Patel looking around with his crazy eyes like a Timu Columbo, and Cash Patel had the FBI buy a fleet of armored BMW X5s for his official transportation instead of standard government SUVs like Suburbans because he thought the Chevys were too conspicuous. So Trump's America First FBI guy went with bulletproof German SUVs. Yeah, nothing says low profile like an armored BMW. That'll blend right in, just like the mysterious white cream permanently living on Trump's hand. Real stealth energy, guys. Merry Griftmas to cosplay Christie. When you've got taxpayers, why pay rent? Another rent-free house for my puppy. He deserves the best. I just hope this one lives. Another taxpayer-funded private jet. Need to travel in style. Yes, U.S. Coast Guard under DHS purchased 2 Gulfstream private jets estimated around 170 to 200 million so she can fly to foreign prisons where the inmates are forced to drink toilet water, live with the lights on 24/7, and are regularly beaten. Thank you, Canada, for running the 60 Minutes piece that Trump didn't want you to see. And finally, Merry Griftmas Donald. Christmas for the peasants, crypto for the president. More crypto, please. I've only grifted an estimated 1.2 billion since becoming president. Since we're on the topic.
Despite the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same gift. Grit. It has been a long day. Trust me, you're not a grifter, honey.
It's been a long day, so it's harder to keep the lie straight. Because let's be honest, it's all a grift. Turning Point USA is a massive conservative nonprofit that pulled in about $85 million in revenue in 2024 alone, backed by hundreds of thousands of donors and big money benefactors funding events, travel, and operations. $85 million. So forgive me if I don't buy the humble Christian mom routine when she's dripping in designer jewelry like a rap video filmed inside a Hobby Lobby. Erika Kirk keeps selling this story about never really dating, not drinking, very wholesome, which is fine until the internet does what it does and checks the receipts. Turns out there's footage of her on Summer House before she met Charlie, socializing, partying, doing reality TV show things. Nothing illegal, nothing shocking. Just not the story she's telling now. And look, people are allowed to change, but if you're just gonna rewrite your superhero origin story, maybe check first to see if Bravo still has the tapes. Subscribe. Donald Trump spent part of Christmas getting away from the internet that was busy uncovering the poorly redacted documents regarding his alleged relationship with kids to take calls from kids, have a huge Christmas meltdown on social media, and announce plans to build Trump-class battleships. The guy is slapping his name on everything and wants to have a say in the design, which the enemy must be loving because Trump has no class and we've seen the build quality of Trump products, from his tacky watches that arrive broken, shoes with the fake gold flaking off, to the phones that, well, I can't even actually comment on those because they're not even available yet. So MAGA are still stuck at the mall food court, unable to phone their moms to come pick them up. Speaking of calls, here's Trump taking some with Melania. The two are separated by his Christmas tree. This is the closest he's gotten a bit of wood near her since Barron was made.
You sound so beautiful and cute. How old are you?
I'm 8.
Wow, so smart. You sound so smart. So do you have a... Hi, Krill.
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Right, I know. Oh, Pennsylvania is great. We won Pennsylvania. Actually, 3 times, but we won Pennsylvania. We won it in a landslide, so I love Pennsylvania.
Will Santa ever get mad if we don't leave him out any cookies?
I think he won't get mad, but I think he'll be very disappointed. You know, he tends to be a little bit on the cherubic side. You know what cherubic means? A little on the heavy side. I think Santa would like some cookies. You'd like to leave some cookies for Santa, right?
Merry Christmas. Yes.
But you're not going to forget. You'll leave some. I would leave them. I think Santa has a serious appetite.
So these kids are calling in to talk about Santa visiting them, and Trump immediately turns it into a campaign rally. I won Pennsylvania actually 3 times. Cool, man. Nothing says holiday magic like relitigating electoral fantasies with a 7-year-old who just asked for a Lego. Imagine being a kid, clutching the phone, whispering, Santa, can I get a puppy? And Santa's like, before we get to that, let me tell you about voter fraud. Cherubic doesn't mean chubby. It means sweet, innocent, joyful. 3 things Trump has never been accused of being. Trump's version of Santa isn't jolly. He checks IDs, asks where your parents are from, complains about wind turbines, and tells the elves they used to work harder before regulation. I don't know what was harder for the children, trying to understand Melania's accent or trying to make sense of Trump's rambling. Is there literally anyone else we can talk to there? An elf? Someone, please? Trump fired off a lot of posts on Christmas, but this was his main message. Merry Christmas to all, including the sleazebags who loved Jeffrey Epstein, gave him bundles of money, went to his island and attended his parties, and thought he was the greatest guy on earth, only to drop him like a dog when things got too hot. Falsely claimed that had nothing to do with him, didn't know him, said he was a disgusting person, and then blame, of course, President Donald J. Trump, who was actually the only one who did drop Epstein, and long before it became fashionable to do so. When their names get brought out in the ongoing radical left witch hunt, plus one lowlife Republican Massey, and it is revealed that they are Democrats all, there will be a lot of explaining to do, much like there was when it was made public that the Russia hoax was a fictitious story, a total scam, and had nothing to do with Trump. They are Democrats all, he actually wrote this. There will be a lot of explaining to do, much like there was when it was made public that the Russia hoax was a fictitious story, a total scam, and had nothing to do with Trump. The failing New York Times, among many others, was forced to apologize for their bad and faulty election reporting, even to the point of losing many subscribers due to their highly inaccurate fake coverage. Now the same losers are at it again, only this time so many of their friends, mostly innocent, will be badly hurt and reputationally tarnished. But sadly, that's the way it is in the world of corrupt Democrat politics. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas, President Donald J. Trump. This might be the only Christmas message in history that includes the phrase, sleazebags who loved Jeffrey Epstein. Trump wants us to believe that everyone loved Epstein except him, and that the real crime here is people blaming Trump for things the Epstein-era frequent flyer insists he didn't do. There is literally video of Trump partying with Epstein. This isn't speculation. This is B-roll. He drew him birthday cards, and they were tight for decades, while the internet is busy combing through the Epstein files, which weren't even redacted properly. You can just copy and paste it and get the clean text. And Trump's out here writing fan fiction where he's the lone hero who dropped Epstein before it was cool. When your holiday message reads like a legal brief written by someone who hasn't slept, it doesn't scream peace on earth. It screams, why are we talking about this at all? This isn't a defense. It's a panic button meltdown in festive wrapping paper. And by the way, reputationally, that's not a word, but Truth Social doesn't have fact checks, so why would it have a spell check? And now, please welcome back to the show, Mitch McConnell.
I would appreciate if you would address me by the combined supername I'm married with my wife Elaine. We are the McChows. And Mrs. McChow, she's in the other room having her Christmas leftovers. And I'm here, quietly playing with my purple sack. It's velvety soft and, remarkably empty. You see, I was sent a bottle of Crown Royal as a gag gift. I did not find it humorous, considering we're experiencing a true orange leopard ate our faces moment. A few years ago, I called the president practically and morally responsible for a great many things. And I provided the institutional legitimacy to return him to the White House. Now our exports have collapsed more than Don Jr.'s septum. We're seeing an 85% drop in bottles going to Ted Cruz's country of birth. 16 million barrels of bourbon are sitting in warehouses because Canadians would rather drink inferior whiskey than support the Epstein Air frequent flyer who thinks Canada should be the 51st state. The neighbors to the north are skipping old fashions and holding their own smooth purple sacks in unity, hoping to fill them with the marbles Donald Trump has lost. Without that vent, we're literally drowning in product. Kentucky is the only place that taxes aging spirits. A $75 million tax bill this year alone. That forced Jim Beam's hand. Jim Beam is shuttering its flagship distillery the entirety of 2026. Now, the job losses won't likely stop at the distillery doors. Our farmers grow nearly 20 million bushels specifically for our mass bills, but without the stills running, our grain has nowhere to go but the hog trough. You don't order new charred oak barrels when your warehouses are already straining with 16 million stagnant ones. And our truckers, they're moving nothing at all. You can't have America first without some fellow Americans being, first in line at the unemployment office. Truly a vintage performance, Donald Trump. Now, if you'll excuse me, Santa, which I am confident is actually Elaine in a white beard, brought me a working VCR. And I have an old box of Peter North films I would like to get acquainted with.
I make this show on my own. If you can afford it, drop me a PayPal tip or a super thanks, become a member, and check out my merch.
Donald Trump's economy grew the United States of America, the biggest economy in the world, 4.3%. What that means is that Americans overall, all of us, are going to earn 4.3% more money.
I can't expect realistic math from a guy whose boss once insisted he was on Epstein's plane 0 times. Howard Lutnick claimed that a 4.3% in GDP means Americans effectively got a 4.3% raise. That's not just wrong, it's Mike Lindell wrong. GDP growth can look fantastic on paper, while most workers see no raise at all. In today's economy, a huge share of growth gets captured by corporate profits, stock buybacks, dividends, and executive bonuses, not wages. So when politicians brag about GDP, they're often bragging about numbers that will never touch your bank account. And inflation makes it worse. If GDP grows 4.3%, but prices rise nearly as fast, a worker who doesn't get a raise has actually lost ground, even as officials celebrate strong growth.
We want to win this IA race against China, but we also want to make sure that we're building data centers that have the capacity while keeping energy costs low. How do we do that in this country?
Okay, the way President Trump is thinking about it is, if you're building a data center, you're going to give GIVE power to the grid and drive the energy costs of everybody around that data center lower. Donald Trump is going to bring lower energy prices everywhere that a big company, one of these big tech companies, builds a big data center. They're going to lower the price of energy in the entire area around it. That's what makes us all one team. Win the AI race, but drive down electricity costs in the area around those data centers so the people who live near those data centers are winners just the same.
Data centers don't give power to the grid, they suck it dry. AI data centers are energy hogs, massive computing, nonstop servers, constant cooling. They don't produce electricity, they demand huge amounts of it. When one shows up, the grid doesn't get stronger, it gets stressed. Utilities have to build more capacity, upgrade lines, and somebody has to pay for that. Yeah, spoiler alert, it's not the trillion-dollar tech companies, it's the people opening their power bills. Data centers' lower energy costs is like saying Trump University made college cheaper. It's proper Trump math, the same logic that turned a housing allowance into a warrior dividend. Tommy Campbell, you want open borders, no police? I've never once said there should be open borders and no cops, but I do often mention the importance of education, and the fact that you confidently put borders here reinforces this and the kind of person I'm dealing with. So instead of cracking a beer to wet your parched mouth after your latest round of window licking, maybe crack open a book. MAGA tears. How come libs are never good looking? Is it vaccines or what? I am fascinated by this whole liberals are ugly thing. From the Mar-a-Lago makeover party of Diaper Dawn, Marjorie Dog the Bounty Hunter Green, and her Oompa Loompa-headed boyfriend, Sawface Laura Luber. Okay, the list of these rejects is never ending. And for the record, good looking is 2 words, and the only reason you're even alive to comment is because your parents vaccinated you. MAGA tears.
Or making old fashions with their alternatively spelled whiskey. To be fair, whiskey with an E sounds like what you would do at a party with Matt Gaetz. I'll have a whiskey with an E.
The two are separated by his Christmas tree. I mean, this is the closest he's gotten a bit of his wood nearer since Barron was made. Yes, we know. It was in a lab.
Mrs. McChow is in the other room having Christmas leftovers, and I'm here playing with my purple sack. It's velvety soft.
Howard Nutlick claimed... I get such a kick out of calling him Nutlick. Howard...
The Tommy Campbell Show is the best political comedy show on YouTube. And I hope you subscribe.